Thought I'd upload a video to YouTube. So I have been unable to go to my normal full-time job since the end of October. Fractured my ankle. It's getting there slowly, but it's still got a way to go yet. So I've been having a tinker around. So this is a design, I'm trying to minimize the glare here, but the light's coming from up there. So overhead it's quite difficult unless I sort of come directly above them, but it doesn't make filming easy then. So yes, this is a design literally years ago I come up with for a audio compressor, FET based one. I've been wanting to build, so I finally taken the opportunity to knock some boards up. A few things I realised upon receiving them. I should have certain boards like these two, if I'd thought about it a bit more, I could have made these the same size and then they could have just stacked on top of each other. Same as like these two boards, but hey ho. I went modular because it's quite a lot. You can see there's actually quite a lot of stuff on the circuit, so I just thought I'd break it down into its relative different boards, and this one's actually on its own because I just simply forgot. It's just a balanced output driver. I forgot to put it on wherever it needed to go. So all the green boards apart from the power supply are actually 4-layer boards. See, the power supply is actually split into two with a ground plane. It's plus or minus 12 volts. One's for all the audio stuff, one's for the LED lights and that lot. The audio section also needs a 5-volt supply. Is some digital logic level chips on there. There's no digital logic on there, in the sense that there's no processing or TTL stuff going on. There's just some logic level chips that are used for audio switching, and some input in one of the circuits. There's like a 4017 used. What's that? The ripple count, or whatever you call it. That's used for like selecting various ratios of stuff. So it wanted a 5-volt as well, if I remember correctly. But anyway. So yeah, it's just fixed DC stuff. There's no actual logic, like computing stuff going on, no digital, as it were, going on. So yeah, that's simple. It's power supply. This one is, what is this one? Without the schematic in front of me, who can say? Got a couple of op amps on it. Little things that you can see. I was meant to put that style package on there. What's this say? Yeah, annoyingly so. I was really wanting to make sure I got like all my resistor values and labelled all my connectors and everything, and realised after I'd sent the boards off to manufacture, on some of the boards I just completely had overlooked component values. There's a few on this one. This one's not too bad because all of these are 10k luckily, but I forgot to just put the label on the connector there, so annoying. I'm going to have the schematic out to hand. I'm going to say this is probably the main. This is the balanced line input, I think. Yeah, I think this is like the balanced input and stuff. There's a 555 chip on there. It's something to do with the input stage and switching and stuff. Again, should have labelled it better. This one I definitely know. This is all just for the comparators. There's a load of comparators on here. These are just driving all the LED lights. There's like a compression ratio meter and a level meter. So that's all this is for, just driving all the LEDs and stuff. There's some precision rectifiers and stuff on there. This one is there's an F555 on there. So yeah, this one actually is for selecting the compression ratio. Yeah, more precision rectifiers and stuff. So yeah, that's right. This is for threshold and decay, and yeah. So this is the board. This selects this chip here, sends off the signal. So this side of the board is like a push button based around a 555 and a 4017. that sends a DC pulse out to a, I can't think the name of the IC. That's a DG41, then followed by the last two numbers, audio switching chip. So yeah, this board will, so that will select which compression ratio you have rather than needing like a multi-turn knob. It just does it on a push button. The 555 is acting as a single-use switch. You have to let your finger press it again before it will go to the next level. And yeah, and this is then all the threshold and decay select. Yeah, that's all the LEDs. That's switchable between which board you want. This is the, still not sure. This is definitely part of the compressor, because this has the control voltage and stuff in on it. So yeah, I think this is actually the compressor board itself. Yeah, and this I think must just be like the balanced line input. AC in, yeah, who knows. But yeah, basically it's split up. I believe there's like the input section, so you've got power supply, balanced line input, and like first stage of driver. There's like a wet dry control as well to bypass the compressor. The compressor section itself, all the level indicator drivers and the threshold decay, you know, the control circuitry for the compressor is on this. So basically this is all control circuitry: decay, threshold, attack time, and ratio select. So this is a control board. This is the compressor board. This is like an audio input board, buffer. This is meter driver. This is power supply. This is for the front panel. And you can see, so it's designed so the LEDs are sat, let's have a look. It will be, that's the side that's going to be like on the front panel facing inwards. And this will be the side that's pushed through. So you've got the LEDs on there. One lot show you what compression level you've got it set at. One lot show you the amount of compression it's actually doing, and one lot shows you the signal level. You can select between input and output level. And yeah, and this is just a little balanced line driver that I forgot. So yeah, anyway, so I was having a play on front panel designer, and I wanted to knock up a front panel that had all the controls and the engravings and everything on it, and it looked really nice what I come up with. You know, I spent several days on it, but I can't really justify the price. Like 400 odd euros for a single front panel, so yeah, and that's like 300 odd quid. So it will just be a good old-fashioned hand-drilled front panel with some, you know, just print some labels off on it. And likewise as well, you know, if I wanted to use front panel designer for the rest of the case, and so I marked out where all these holes are, so everything just drops in. It would be silly money for by the time the cases come. It would be so expensive. It would just be insane. So I can go on CPC. I can buy a 1U rack mount case for 60 quid. This will all fit in a 1U case easily. You can see, look, this is 27 centimeters by 40 odd. So, you know, move this around, bearing in mind, you know, that's going to be sat on the front panel. That's probably going to be sat on the back panel. So you've only got to squeeze multiple ones of these in. And again, there's nothing stopping me from, well, actually I can't mount any of these on the panel unless I was a 2U one. If I wanted to, I could use like a 2U case and actually mount these. You could actually have a quite narrow case if I wanted, but your standard 200mm, I think, depth, I should be able to fit this in a 200mm depth case really easily. Like power supply, one side, this is all like meter stuff, and then by the time batten, that's in there. You know, 200mm, that's well within the width of the case. That's well within the depth of like a 200mm case. Like I say, this will be at the front, that'll be on the back. So, you know, it's not particularly big, but had I made these stackable, you know, I think I could have got that, and let's say this stacked on top of that, and the whole lot could have gone in a slightly narrower case. Maybe could have even got it, probably could have actually, yeah, done it all in a 150mm case or so. I suppose one of those ways, you're getting a custom made case done, you pay incrementally, you choose the depth you want, and the price keeps going up, but it goes up quite steep for every 10 mils you add. But anyway, so yes, that's what I've been up to. Just thought I'd make a little video on that. JLC PCB, yeah, I do like them. So yeah, that's 2-layer board, 2-layer board, 2-layer board. All these are 4-layer. I've never used 4-layer before, so I was having to play around with it. So you can see on this one, you can actually see some dark lines in there. That's actually the internal layer under this. And the internal layer under the front here is just a ground plane. So yeah, the internal layers, one's been used for power, solely for plus and minus power, and one's been used as a ground plane. And then on this one I decided to try putting the ground plane on the back of the board. One internal layers for power, one internal layers for other traces. I think I went that route with. So yeah, you can see I sort of half and halved it, see which one I prefer. So yeah, other things as well. So because I've got ground planes, it was designed so the power actually routes through the boards as it needs to. 0V actually chases through, sort of DC comes in on one, goes out on another, and it works its way round. There isn't actually any load. The only time there's any load on the 0V rails is some of the LEDs, but they have their own 0V rail and they're not connected to the audio ground plane, so there's no worry about switching currents getting into the audio chain. And the rest of this audio chain, there's no current in any of the 0V stuff at all. So even if I'd not really laid it out particularly well, it really shouldn't have caused massive issues, because you don't start getting differences in voltage levels unless you start trying to put signal and high output currents together on the same 0V plane, or in the same 0V tracks in the wrong order. So anyway, yeah, that's my what I've been up to. I've got some stuff into figs and bits and bobs as well, but yeah, I've just, like, literally I've just been sat on the sofa. I have been sat on the sofa. A couple of weeks ago I got to a point where I could actually start putting weight on my foot and then hobble around with just one crutch, not needing two. But yeah, no, I'm still very swollen, very limited movement. I've got to go back to the Christmas Eve of all times, got to go back to the hospital, to the fracture clinic for the doctor, because I've seen a doctor and a physio, and they're sort of, they've said, you know, there's not really a lot they can do. They've expected it to have been a bit better than it is by now, so they've recommended to go back to book an appointment at the fracture clinic and go back, because the original doctor did say he would be willing to carry on, continue looking at me if needs be. So yes, anyway, that's going to be my Christmas Eve, fighting my way through town to get to the hospital, to get to the fracture clinic to see if they need to give me an MRI or something. So anyway, yeah, hope you're all keeping well, and if you've watched it this far, as always, thanks for watching. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to actually spend some time sat down here, keep my foot down long enough without it hurting, to start soldering some bits onto these, and just testing them on the bench before messing about putting them all in a chassis. I'd have liked to have had them all like yellow, but it added like an extra £100 odd to the price of these boards. Made no difference on these because they're just little twin layer boards, but these, it actually added a fair chunk of price to them, so I didn't bother. I just kind of like the yellow, like the way you can see through it quite easily. So anyway, yeah, that's what I've been up to.